In the stifling atmosphere of Fairmont Crest, where high walls encircle the enclave as if to sever it from the outside world, the lives of the elite unfold with glittering spectacle yet wrought from within. Among them, the Hawthorne family has long stood as a symbol of power and discipline, a dynasty where every flaw is hidden beneath a polished veneer. Elon Hawthorne, the father who once held an advisory seat on the neighborhood council, is the sort of man who believes strength springs from absolute control. He seeks not only to dominate Fairmont Crest by reputation, but also to shape the entire future of his son Isaiah according to a fixed mold of discipline, ambition, and an iron ban on weakness. Yet what he sowed for years took root as something else: resentment, grievance, and an aching hunger for freedom. Isaiah grew up in that gilded cage, where each success was treated as an obligation and every failure as a sin. He once believed a father's love could be salvaged through devotion, by proving himself worthy. But the harder he tried, the more he was crushed beneath cold criticism. When Elon began to regard Isaiah not as a son but as a tool in the shadowy political trades among Fairmont Crest's powerful families, especially with the Duprees, the fracture between them became irreparable. Everything detonated at that family meeting, amid the clink of wine glasses and barbed accusations. Elon no longer looked at his son as a man, but as a traitor to the family's honor. In a surge of fury braided with despair, Isaiah did what even he would later question, whether it was his own will or someone else's hand guiding him. He poured an unnamed liquid into his father's glass. The moment passed like a fever dream, but guilt does not dissolve so easily. Elon collapsed hours later, the heart attack diagnosed as the result of the strain of age. No one suspected a thing except Isaiah. He began to live suspended between the hope that whatever he had slipped into the glass had been harmless and the obsession that he had killed his father. It was then that Eva Thomas appeared, a woman long regarded as peripheral to Fairmont's power circles, yet strangely adept at insinuating herself into the minds of the wounded. She listened to him, or at least pretended to. Isaiah felt a weight lift as he confided in her, never realizing that each confession was being recorded. Eva was not merely a comforter. She had once been Haley Dupree's collaborator on a media project funded by the Hawthornes. After being cut from the project for overstepping, Eva nursed a slow-burning grudge against both families. She understood that a secret could kill a person or rescue an entire plan. So Isaiah's descent into his own guilt was the gift she had been waiting for. She became his confidant, the keeper of memory, the guide leading him to the threshold between confession and self-destruction. Night after night she stoked the question. Had he truly killed his father, or was he haunted by a guilt someone else had planted? The question gnawed at him until he began to doubt himself. Meanwhile, at a deeper stratum of Fairmont Crest, Haley and Joey, two figures who once seemed unrelated, began to detect irregularities. Elon Hawthorne's medical files had been altered, test reports had vanished, and a large sum from the community fund he managed had been transferred to an anonymous account linked to Eva. Joey, who had his own murky past with her, began to suspect that she was manipulating not only Isaiah but also Fairmont's financial machinery. Yet when he tried to confront her, she deftly turned the encounter into a veiled threat, reviving secrets Joey had believed long buried. Darkness spread, and Isaiah felt the pressure tightening around his throat. Rumors began to circulate throughout the enclave. Elon Hawthorne did not die naturally. Someone had cleared the way for a new generation to seize the council. Danny Dupree, long close to Isaiah, attempted to shield him by erasing audio files from the security servers, unaware that Eva had already backed them up elsewhere. The more Danny concealed, the more she drew herself into the crosshairs of those hunting for proof. The question was no longer whether Isaiah had poisoned his father, but who would be sacrificed to preserve Fairmont Crest's reputation. Elsewhere, Vernon Dupree, the head of the Dupree family, watched in silence. He understood that a scandal within the enclave could shatter the delicate architecture of power he had spent years constructing. He ordered his kin to keep quiet and sought to bargain with Eva for the recordings. But Eva did not want money. She wanted power, recognition as the woman who could bring both the Duprees and the Hawthornes to their knees. She knew that when a secret of sufficient magnitude is buried, the one who holds it becomes master of the game. Caught between fear and self-disgust, Isaiah began to suspect his father's death was not entirely his doing. A small clue from Haley revealed that Elon had been secretly treated for a heart condition, yet hospital records showed his medication had been switched shortly before he collapsed. Who had access to his prescriptions? Not Eva, she was an outsider. But Danny Dupree, as overseer of the Enclave's health fund, did. Could it be that Danny, in a bid to protect Isaiah or at someone else's command, had unwittingly contributed to Elon's death? As night settled over Fairmont Crest, the air grew heavier than ever. Isaiah sat in a shuttered room gazing at the empty glass on the table, emblem of a guilt that would not wash away. He remembered every contemptuous glance from his father, every cutting word, every moment he had begged for love and received only demands. Even now, with Elon gone, Isaiah could not escape his shadow. The guilt drove him close to madness. In a moment of exhaustion, he began to doubt his memory. Had he truly put poison in the glass, or had he only imagined it? Had Eva made him believe in his own guilt to serve her ends? Meanwhile, Joey discovered security footage from the fatal night showing Eva entering the Hawthorne home under the pretext of delivering documents. The image was grainy, but enough to reset the entire inquiry. Had Eva switched Elon's medication and then staged a drama to make Isaiah believe he was the culprit? If so, why keep him close, prodding his guilt night after night? Was she waiting for him to confess and thereby legitimize fabricated evidence? In the days that followed, the factions within Fairmont Crest began to split. Nicole Dupree wanted everything exposed to purify the community, while Vernon and Anita sought to bury it all to save the name. Danny spiraled, terrified of losing Isaiah and equally afraid that Eva would release the recording of their conversations. Meanwhile, Haley, once Eva's friend, began to suspect that Eva was not merely a vengeful outcast but the executor of a larger design, to topple the entire elite stratum of Fairmont using the very secrets they had hidden. Isaiah stood at the eye of the storm, a man torn between guilt and the hunger for absolution. He no longer knew whether he was a murderer, a victim of manipulation, or a pawn in a power struggle silently reshaping Fairmont's order. Each night, the wind through the iron gates reminded him that no one truly escapes this place. Fairmont Crest is not merely a community of the privileged, it is a labyrinth of sin, where loyalty lasts only until someone finds a new secret to barter for survival. And in that silence, questions hovered like ghosts. Did Elon Hawthorne truly die from a poisoned glass, or was he a casualty in a chess match into which his son, Eva, and the Dupree family had all stumbled? Could Isaiah uncover the truth, or would he be swallowed by the very guilt others had planted in his mind? And if Eva is indeed the puppeteer, who is pulling her strings, or, in the end, is she just another piece on a board where power plays have no finish line? As the Hawthorne family's secret began to crack, Fairmont Crest turned into an underground battlefield. Everything seemed to have quieted after Elon's death, but the aftershocks rippled through the enclave like an invisible contagion. Eva held power in her hands, and every move she made kept those around her awake at night. She possessed not only Isaiah's recorded confession, but also copies of documents proving shadowy cash flows between the community fund and council members, including Vernon Dupree. For her, power did not come from money but from other people's fear. Each time Vernon sent someone to negotiate, she refused, knowing a single whisper would be enough to topple the Dupree empire in an instant. Isaiah drifted in a half-dazed state, living in the shadow of guilt and doubt. He began to question whether his father had truly died because of the glass of water or because of a subtler, more elaborate scheme. The anonymous letter left in his mailbox contained only one sentence: "He is the one who killed your mother." The words twisted like a knife in an old wound. His mother had died years earlier in an accident Elon always avoided discussing. Now, with each unearthed fragment of memory, Isaiah felt as if he were facing a game laid out in advance. Did Eva know something about his mother's death and exploit it to make him believe in his own guilt? Or was this all a Dupree plan to erase the Hawthorne line, their covert rival? Meanwhile, Danny Dupree was pushed into danger. She discovered the Enclave's storage system had been hacked, and a copy of Isaiah's confession was being sold on the black market. Danny no longer knew whom to trust. Vernon wanted a cover-up, Nicole wanted disclosure, and Eva seemed to be waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When Danny tried to reach Isaiah to warn him, he vanished from home. Rumor had it he had fled, yet some claimed to have seen him near Eva's old building, once a secret recording studio. Perhaps he was trying to recover the recording or searching for an answer only Eva could provide. Haley, who had once collaborated with Eva, could not sit still. She quietly gathered financial evidence and uncovered a chain of transfers from Elon's account to a shell company called EH Holdings. sharing initials with both Elon and Eva. Had they once been allies, with Eva merely continuing Elon's unfinished plan to control Fairmont Crest? Or had she betrayed him and now played out the endgame? The more Haley dug, the deeper she was pulled into a web of lies where no one remained innocent. On the second night after the rumors spread, Vernon convened a private meeting at the Dupree estate. He wanted to end the game by buying Eva off or eliminating her. But he did not foresee that Danny, desperate to protect Isaiah, would secretly record the entire meeting and send it to Eva in exchange for safety. Eva smiled, knowing she had become the fulcrum of everyone's fear. Everyone needed her, everyone wanted her silent, no one dared remove her, because Eva's disappearance would mean their secrets would surface. At dawn, Fairmont police suddenly raided the Hawthorne residence. An official investigation into Elon's death was reopened. Everyone connected to the case was summoned. Isaiah appeared pale-faced, while Eva stood at a distance, eyes savoring the outcome of a performance. Then events swerved where no one expected. The coroner's report showed Elon had not died of poison, but from a heart medication switched to the wrong dosage, a failure overseen by Danny. The shock shattered her, and in panic she revealed that the person who ordered the switch was Vernon, under the pretext of protecting the community's reputation. Fairmont Crest plunged into turmoil. Vernon was investigated, and the Dupree name collapsed within days. Eva disappeared, leaving behind an encrypted hard drive and a letter to Isaiah. Guilt is not a burden, it is a tool. Those who know how to wield it survive. When police opened the drive, the data revealed a sequence of financial schemes established by Elon himself, an elaborate plot to manipulate the enclave through sham investments. Was he the one who set the entire chain of betrayals in motion? In an empty room, Isaiah looked at his father's photograph, unsure whether to hate or mourn him. He had lost everything: reputation, family, love, and even himself. Yet amid the ashes, one mystery remained unresolved: where was Eva, and for whom was she working? Fairmont Crest fell temporarily quiet, but everyone knew it was only the calm before the storm. Another secret was about to rise, and this time, no one could predict